This is At the Extremes.
Beloveds, welcome back to At the Extremes, the podcast where we discuss the extremes in our society and how we got here. As always, we're your host. I'm Greg.
And I'm Sergio.
Well, hello, Sergio. Today we're going to talk about the week that was. Sergio, it's been a little bit for us. We, you had a trip back out west, so we haven't really. I mean, we caught up a little bit during foosball, but can you walk us through maybe like a silver lining, light up the sky? Because I'm currently struggling after the Arsenal loss.
Yes, that was a brutal loss, especially against Man U, and Man U is just shit this year, and to lose to them. But also, I guess I would think of it like this as well: is that Man U really the only thing that they're trying to fight is relegation, and right now, I mean, their biggest thing is to try to be the biggest spoilers, and they're going to do everything and all things to try to win. So
yeah. I mean,
they have nothing to lose, because if they lose, everybody's like, okay,
yeah. You didn't really help me out.
No, they still lost. They did not win. God damn it!
Give me a silver lining, then, please. I can't be the only person. I can't. I have to be the only person depressed right now. I need you to help me out.
Well, I went out west for just a weekend because I had to attend a funeral, which was really, really sad. But I guess the silver lining with that was just being able to kind of ground myself again and just to reflect on how lucky I am to have family that we're close to. And it was nice to just be there to support, the family and to see everybody. And my grandpa's, I think, 95 or 96 years old, and he's still alive.
Hell yeah, dude.
And he's pretty with it. So that's awesome.
That's great news.
And even better news is that I looked on my federal loans and it says motherfucking zero, dog. So I have no more fucking student debt.
So
the only debt I have is my house.
Damn, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, it feels so good.
You bastard.
It was 10 years of lots of payments and kind of scrambling at the last minute, but I got it done before the Department of Education might be dissolved. So
damn, dude.
But I'm just, I'm going to throw out positive energy and positive thoughts for everybody that is also trying to work on their student loans and get them forgiven, get them done now. Go check on it. Don't wait, because, the next 4 years are going to be crazy. And we don't want you to be carrying tons of debt and being stuck under these huge, corporations.
Yeah. And as someone who is one of those people who's out to sea on his student loan debt, I can appreciate that. I definitely want mine to go away forever.
Dude, it was $119,000 and it's zero. I mean, I didn't have that much, but it's 7% interest, and I've been paying the bare minimum for, for 10 years. So I think I ended up paying a decent amount, but not. Yeah. But it was money that I borrowed, and I wasn't working during the time, so it was my kind of survival money during that time. So,
damn, dude.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
That's all gone, and
that's a great silver lining.
It feels pretty good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done to you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I had a birthday party. Had a lot of friends
happy
over.
Birthday.
Thank you, love. Had some friends over, and one of those friends was my foosball sensei, and I destroyed him.
God, I hope he listens to the pod so he can.
If he doesn't, I'm going to just send him just this isolated clip where I'm talking about whooping his ass.
You can talk shit about him, and all our listeners can hear it, and he will do nothing to defend himself.
Yeah, he can't. This is the beautiful part about having your own show. We can talk shit, and no one can say anything to us. No, that's untrue. So, yeah, he showed up at my house thinking that he was going to win, and then I made sure to resolve that feeling for him as fast as possible, back-to-back games. He limped away from the table.
As he should have.
Yep. And I walked away feeling like at least I did something right for the last 3 years during all this practice of baseball, like a loser in my basement by myself.
Filming yourself in your shots.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah.
You know what though? That just shows your dedication.
I am dedicated. I'm dedicated to the craft.
Is it that, or is it you're just trying to just humiliate him and let him know that you're top dog?
I think it was a combination of both, right? Like, I think because I am so intense about competition, I was like, all right, well, I got to win. But if I'm going to win, I need to absolutely dominate this situation. So, yeah, I did it. And now, I can hack up my foosball table just like I've been planning to do for years.
That's what's up.
Oh man, but yeah, no, it was good. We had a lot of folks over, and those folks surrounded us with love and friendship, and yeah, it was a good time. It was just a really good time, and yeah, can't say enough about it. So
well, and you were telling me down in the basement too when we were playing foosball that it was really cool for you just because that you got to see kind of the different segments of your childhood, early adulthood, and just seeing all the different phases of your life come together and get it intermingle.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, family was there, early childhood friends were there, right after college friends were there, and then the friends that I've met since I've, been in my adulthood and also in my relationship. It was really good. It was really good just to see all that crowd blend together. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. It was just an awesome time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And they were all there for a good reason to celebrate you.
Yeah, and to watch me kick his ass.
I wonder if I would have loved. I'm sorry, I missed your part. I would have loved to just watch, be down in the basement and just see everybody's reaction to you just flipping out and being a maniac.
I was going to record it. I literally was going to stand the tripod up, but my wife was like, "You're not doing that. This is a birthday party." You have no idea how much this means to me.
It's my party. I want to do it.
Well, Sergio, let's go ahead and take our first break of 2025. And when we come back, we're going to shift gears and talk about the week that was. We are back. Sergio, we talked about before we took the break, but it's been a rough one.
It sure has.
We've got two stories that we're going to more or less dig into deep, but we're going to hit a couple of quick hit stories real quick. And the first one, the California fires. Let's talk about it real quick. When I wrote this up on Friday, over 25,000 acres were charred and burned. Businesses, pets, animals, homes. And then I think I saw like 11 was the latest death count. And I think in like
it's gonna be a lot more.
It's going to be so much more. I saw this morning that the fire is starting to work its way inland, away from the coast, which is just, I mean, you're talking about some of the most pristine wilderness I've ever been in along that mountain range on the Sierra Nevadas, and it is just going to get bad.
That's talk about depressing, man. That's super depressing, and it's just. I guess for me, just the thoughts that I always thought fire season was during late summer, early fall. I didn't realize that fire season was in wintertime too, because you think of snow and they get some rain down in LA and all that. And I didn't realize that fire season was pretty much all year round.
Yeah. What is the? I mean, I don't know, and this kind of shows like just how little I was paying attention to this throughout the week, but like the idea of they were saying like something about like the county commissioner and the mayor were like aware that the fire hydrants didn't have water going to them. Like, what is the? Do you know anything about that?
So what I was listening to another podcast, and they were basically talking about today that actually that California's water reserves are the highest levels that they've been with snow melt and with rain that they've had.
Was it last year they had that really big snowstorm that went on for like weeks, wasn't it?
They had a snowstorm and they had like torrential rains, I think, for a while. So basically what they're talking about is that since the system was just being used, it was just under so much stress that some of the fire hydrants didn't work, but there's not like a water shortage in California right now when it comes to reserves. But
I was really confused by that.
Yeah. Well, and I think there was also something with like the mayor. I don't know if it was the mayor that was on a trip overseas.
I saw that too. Yeah.
And it's just not a good look. The guys were just saying on this other podcast that, one of the things as a leader, what you really have to start working on is just like you being on during catastrophes, being on, almost 24 hours and giving updates and letting people know, kind of the status of what's going on, even if it's not like huge changes.
Yeah. And I think that's important, especially when you're in a fire like that. Like you really do have to be kind of on the ground. Like there is no you rush back home from wherever you are and you make sure you're there. You put the jacket on, you look like Air Force, jacket or whatever it is, and you put your leadership hat on and get after it.
Yeah. Well, and I was just seeing too, like one of the things, and I didn't read the article, but it makes a lot of sense to me. But it says that the wildfires are going to just create a higher disparity between poor and rich, just because.
Yeah. But they said the same thing about Hawaii too, right? Yeah.
That rich people will be able to buy up the area, and they'll really kind of gentrify the people that have been there for a long time.
Yeah, talk about people who bought their homes when that area was you could buy a family home for $75,000, and now those homes were worth millions and millions of dollars. The insurance companies are going to try to get out of those payments. You know that for a fact. And then also on top of that, to your point, like. Okay, yeah, I bought this house back in 1977 when real estate was affordable here, and now I can't live here anymore.
Yeah,
like they were there because they had been there for a really long time.
Yeah,
they were evacuating the area, and it made me think about like what would I grab? So like silly question, but what would you grab? Like, granting that like your pets, your wife, and your child are like already in the car. What's the one personal item that you're grabbing? Before you take off?
I mean, just car keys. Like I think about the stuff that I have within my possession. One of the cool things now with technology is that for photos and stuff like that, they're on a cloud, so you don't have to worry about grabbing albums. I just really don't know what I would grab because there's nothing. I mean, there's sentimental value, but there's nothing really that is in my house. I'm just like, I couldn't live without it.
Sure, yeah. Maybe it's not a couldn't live without, but like if we were to have a catastrophe here, maybe I'm taking the refrigerator full of beer. I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like I just don't. There's not a lot here that I'm ultra connected to either. But I like to think that there's something that I'm not thinking about that I could be like, oh no, I have to have that thing.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I did spend a lot of money on this microphone.
Your computer or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's fun. There's a funny family story that I think it was my mom and my grandma and grandpa and my uncles. There was an electrical fire in the house, and actually my grandma had closed the door, which was a really good thing because it helped kind of contain the fire. And she was so panicked, the only thing that she grabbed was a stool out of the house and took that out of the house. So the one thing that she thought of. I
love that.
So
that's so funny.
But yeah, no, I think it's really hard because you have a lot invested in your home. It's people spend so much money to get to get to that point to own.
Yeah,
and it's really hard to. I couldn't imagine what it like to have to just leave my house and just not know what's going to happen to it, whether it's going to burn down or if it's going to be salvaged.
I saw footage of a family. It was a couple. They're an older family, and they were just standing in the street with a news reporter, and like the news reporter is asking questions, and she's just to me it was just like, this is so insensitive.
Yeah.
Like, just walk away. Like this is not a moment that needs to be on TV.
How are you feeling right now when your house is burning down?
So talk to us about the house. How's that going? Oh God, I'm dying.
Oh, I think I hear your grandfather's up on the top floor. You better go rescue him.
Looks like your dog's burning alive too. How does that make you feel? I mean, it's just like, come on, man. Let these people grieve. Like they're going to be grieving for a really long time about this. Like let them have this moment by themselves. But like, they're just sitting in the middle of the street watching their home burn to the ground.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, I don't know what I'd grab. It would probably be something silly like, a frying pan or something,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hopefully we never have to make those kind of choices, man.
Yeah. My God. Well, we might be dealing with water coming up the coast anyway.
But we're far enough away.
You think?
I mean, by the time we die.
By the time it gets to us, we'll be dead.
We'll be gone.
Hopefully. Last thing before we move into our two stories of the week. Did you hear about this story in Virginia where a Virginia nurse was arrested for breaking premature babies' legs?
Oh.
Specifically black ones?
Why?
Because she's a racist. We should have like a it's racism button. It's racism.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So in order to like get the authorities off her trail, she started breaking like little white girls' legs, like little white babies, like little girls, so that it would throw them off the scent. That was like her like thinking around it.
Jesus. Like what?
Yeah.
Like that's all you can say is what?
Yeah. Well, I'll play you this news clip from NBC News.
Because then whatever that was done in the dark comes to the light, and sometimes you don't necessarily want to know what was done.
Dominique Hackey, the father of one of the Henrico doctor's NICU babies found to have broken bones in 2023, concerned that it has taken so long for justice.
I remember her being in the room. She was friendly. She answered questions, but she didn't stay and talk like the other NICU nurses did. She wasn't family like the other NICU nurses were.
He's describing 26-year-old Erin Strotman, the nurse now in jail, charged with felony child neglect and felony malicious wounding, related to a different baby in 2024.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. This is like one of those stories where like you like to think like this is like a made for TV kind of shit, but it is very real that she was going around breaking little NICU babies' legs because she's a psychopath.
Jeez Louise. I mean, I'm just thinking how could anybody actually do that? But
yeah,
how long of a sentence do you think she'll get?
Not long enough, whatever it is.
Well, I just wonder how she'll be received when she goes to the clink.
Probably not well.
That's what I'm thinking too.
That's what I'm hoping. Oh boy. Well, hey, you know what?
We're coming in hot in 2025 with these really uplifting stories.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like the start of 2025 has been pretty shit.
Well, you've skipped over Trump trying to take over Greenland, Panama Canal, and Canada.
We'll get there. We're gonna get there.
We've got lots of things going on.
We're gonna get there. In order to get there, though, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we're actually going to talk about that exact thing: the imperial march of the MAGA president towards taking over the world with imperialism again. And then we're going to talk.
It's gonna be great.
And then we're going to talk.
This is the first attempt to talk like Trump this year.
He's done it, folks. He's done it again.
I'm trying.
He's knocked it out of the park. This guy, he's amazing. You didn't say that. I said that. He said it.
And then when we come back, we're also going to talk about the fact-checking fallout at Facebook that's happened this week.
Ugh.
Dun, 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 dun. The Imperial March. Yeah, so let's chat real quick about the Imperial March, actually, that's coming from the America First president. You know, the guy who wants to make America first is about to go out and try to conquer several continents, I guess. I don't know how you make it happen. I've got this theory that it's kind of a smokescreen. Like the idea that he is going to, like he's saying all of this shit, like to kind of like distract. You know,
do you think though, or do you think it's just that's how quickly he loses interest in things? I mean, he was saying anything possible, right, to get elected by he was going to bring down the costs of groceries and all that stuff,
right?
And now that's boring. He got elected, so let me do something crazy.
Migrants are no longer eating people in Ohio.
Yeah.
They're no longer eating your pets.
No.
Your cats, your dogs.
Your cats and dogs.
Yeah, like he's going to be signing 100 executive orders on like the first fucking day. And the first one that he's signing is about deporting people from the country. Like, I think it really is like jingle the keys over here, get the media in a frenzy. And then like day one, you know, make sure that you're able to deport people who were born in the country.
Well, I was reading some news this week, and there's a lot of agencies in Maryland that will not be helping, but your county,
yeah, for sure.
The sheriff talked about the importance of having strong communication with ICE.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Great time. Oh man,
it's going to be bigly.
It's going to be something. So Armand's eyes, they've shifted to the Panama Canal, the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, because, why not? Making Canada part of the Union, and then buying or taking over Greenland. So it's he's not even in, and my brain is already just like it feels like it's been in a blender already.
Yeah. Well, and then also with Trudeau resigning almost effectively, and and one of the guys that's running, the conservative guy, is pretty Trump-like and is starting to turn a lot of heads. And
it's incredible to me that like fascism, like worldwide, is like this, or at least ultra conservative, like backlash from COVID and the like economic fallout from all that, like just how like everywhere it has become just
Germany, France, Italy,
fucking Elon Musk, dude, in fucking Germany, like having a X Spaces whatever with the ultra far right neo-Nazi party in Germany.
Argentina has moved to a really fascist guy.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad. To help us along our way through the conversation, we're going to rely on a Democracy Now! Clip, a Politico article, and the Washington Post. We're going to start with the Democracy Now! Clip, and then we'll dig in from another gem.
And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone.
Trump also aired grievances about the many legal cases against him and threatened to use the military to expand U.S. territory. In an extraordinary exchange, Trump refused to rule out military action to take control of Greenland and the Panama Canal.
You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something.
Let's just stop there real quick, because what do you say? Like, how is this something that people were like, yeah, this is a good idea, we should get this guy back in?
Well, without a doubt, this was nothing that was ever talked about in the campaign trail. And then also, I think one of the things that
it was too cheap, it was too expensive for the economy to like inflation was through the roof, and now we're talking about buying Greenland. What?
Oh, totally. And then the whole idea of, are they going to be paying into Social Security? What's going to be the cost of our taxpayers' money going to be going into that? There's a lot of questions that are up in the air about, what this means.
I mean,
and whether it's going to happen or not. Like, that's the thing. Like, I am not so certain that it's not going to happen.
Right, because Greenland's looking for independence from Denmark.
Yeah.
And the Danes are like, well, if they're free and independent, they can do whatever they want. But Greenland has come out and said, like, absolutely not. We're not doing this. But we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. This little gem from Charlie Kirk, who is, he's a Trump ally. He joined Trump's eldest son, Donald Jr., on a trip to Greenland this past week, where he argued on his podcast Wednesday that this was an imperative for the United States to gain control of Greenland. He says this, there is this other component. In America, it makes America dream again. That we're not just the sad, low testosterone beta male slouching in our chair, allowing the world to run over us. It is the resurrection of masculine American energy. It is the return of manifest destiny.
Basically calling America cucks.
Yeah, like, how is this like, why is like imperialism?
We got to dominate and take over.
I don't even know what to say. Oh my God. I just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
We talked about manifest destiny in our first series that we did in the first episode, actually. And I don't think our views on imperialism, the American imperialist model, are fuzzy. But in the case they are, let's outline them, our opinions real quick. I think I can speak for you, Sergio. it's a violation of self-determination of any other any people who are being colonized, right? It has potential for exploitation and economic inequality for the colonized, not the colonizers. And it increases the risk of conflict due to, them not wanting to be a part of our country. So
we are anti imperialism.
yeah. It turns out like
We don't like it.
No. It's bad. Real bad.
Very bad.
Real bad. But what can Trump actually do? And this is going to come from Politico, okay? So he can buy it, right? He can take it through military force, which he hasn't ruled out, as we heard in the clip, that he has said that, this is kind of what I want, and we're going to take it, whether by hook or by crook. He can strike a deal, kind of like, how we have done with Micronesia, Marshall Islands. Like, they're not officially the United States. They're kind of like a territory.
American Samoa, Puerto Rico.
Yep, exactly.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah, fuck me, man. One day we can talk about that too. And then lastly, he could just throw a bunch of military bases on there with, the Greenland's permission and slowly influence how Greenland kind of looks and how it gets shaped, kind of thing. Kind of like we've done with Guantanamo Bay, and also in Puerto Rico, like those areas where there's a heavy military
The
influence.
Philippines back in the day.
Yep, exactly. Like the idea of us buying another country just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Like what do we, one, like you and I, what are we, like what benefit does it give to
America?
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm so lost for words. I don't even know what to say, really. Like, it's just.
I mean, my thoughts are that there's going to be an exploitation of natural resources. I don't, I think with Greenland, who knows what kind of natural materials, natural gas, stuff that they have. To build our kind of reserves on that, and then also, it is kind of a strategic location, right? Because it's right before you get into Europe, so you can arm it to the gills with bases and stuff like that. But who are we arming against?
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's are we seeing like what could potentially, like, let's say this Greenland deal goes off, right? Like Greenland's like, we'll sell to you, no worries. What happens when that happens? Like, it baffles my mind because I don't understand like the point.
Yeah, I mean, just buying a country, that just seems so foreign.
Yeah, it's just a weird idea, I guess.
It almost kind of touches into, not that it is, but like slavery. Like, now we own you.
Yeah.
So
do what we tell you to do.
Do what we tell you to. You're gonna you're gonna pay the taxes that we impose.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like we're owning you now.
Right. What about Canada? Like, what are we? What do you feel about that situation?
I don't understand how that is. I think that's probably a lot murkier than Greenland. But also, you just think about Canada when its healthcare system. Are they paying into Medicare? Are they paying into Social Security?
Right.
What is it going to cost to pay to get them? How are they going to divide up the provinces that are out in Canada? Are they going to be independent states, or is it going to be just one big state?
Yeah. How would you? Yeah, because then all the provinces that they have now, do you just combine them and say you're all one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and just expanding, just changing everything over to, American laws and rules.
Right.
I don't know a ton of Canadians, but I know that they don't want to become Americans.
Right. I think a lot of them enjoy not having their children shot in school.
Yeah.
To start.
Yeah, even though they have more per capita guns than the United States, but it's a lot stricter to get one, and I don't think you can have assault rifles, and there's a lot of really, really strong regulations.
It turns out it's a lot harder to kill a bunch of kids when you don't have unlimited ammunition and unlimited ways of spraying it, but
or creating ghost guns on a 3D printer and bump stocks that aren't really considered automized guns to being fully automatic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those
It doesn't
Those
matter.
things.
It doesn't matter.
No, that's not a thing.
We're number one.
U.S. of A.
Come on, USA. Yeah, do better. Do better. You want to move on to the next one? Our next story?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had more to cover that you wanted to cover on that one.
I mean, there's not a lot, but it's just this is just the start of how crazy it's going to be. I mean, the man hasn't even been inaugurated yet as president. And let's not gloss over that he was convicted being a felon. He's not going to do any jail time, but he will be a felon. The first president that's elected that will be a felon.
Yep. We did it. We did it, folks. We did it. Now, granted, my opinion is that probably all of them have done something that to make them a felon before or during or after them becoming president, but that's just war crimes are a pretty big deal.
Yeah, but they've never been charged by it.
Right.
And he has been charged by a
Would
jury of his peers.
Do you think that Bill Clinton did some shit before?
Yes.
Before and so like, it's just a matter of did anyone get caught? And Trump,
I mean, he got caught, but he didn't have any. There was no legal proceedings against him. He was humiliated, and he should have been. But,
right? Yeah.
And so was Hillary Clinton was humiliated by how big of an asshole her husband was.
That's true. I wonder how many other presidents. Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter died. Yeah, that's true.
We've big too, and they were all the living presidents were hanging out and
just hanging out like nothing. Like the world wasn't going to come to an end. So maybe we have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, everything will be all right.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be an upsetting 4 years, and things like buying Canada, renaming the Gulf of Mexico. Like it's if this is what we're to expect, if this is as bad as it gets, I'm completely fine with it. I just know that it's all smokescreen.
Yeah,
he's just jangling keys for people to look at. Let's go ahead and talk about Facebook, though. I have a real quick clip.
You mean Meta?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here's a quick clip from the Today Show.
Meanwhile, a major announcement this morning from Meta. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. In a video posted on his platforms today, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announcing big changes to the company's fact-checking policy. NBC's senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson joins us now with more on this. And Hallie, the timing is a bit curious, just days ahead of the start of a new administration.
Yeah, that's right, Craig. Good morning to you. And the big headline here, no more fact-checking, as we've noted for the last 8 years on Facebook and Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg himself is announcing these new changes for Meta, calling the recent elections a cultural tipping point, he says, towards prioritizing free speech. So this morning, he says that Meta will move away from the independent, nonpartisan fact-checking they've had in place since after the 2016 election. Instead, he says they'll rely on community notes. In other words, users putting out context. This is similar to what X is doing. Zuckerberg says Meta's complex moderation system makes too many mistakes with too much censorship. Watch.
The fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the U.S.
And that's not all. Meta also plans to get rid of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender, and to move their content moderation team from California to Texas, among other things. You referenced the timing. This is all happening less than 2 weeks before President-elect Trump is sworn in. And as Zuckerberg and some of these other tech titans appear to be looking to make inroads with the incoming administration. After Mr. Trump's win in November, Zuckerberg, remember, traveled to Mar-a-Lago. His company donated $1 million to the Trump Inaugural Fund. Keep in mind the backdrop here. Over the next 4 years, the Trump administration will set federal policy in areas like AI and antitrust that are really important to Meta and these other big tech companies, too. Craig?
All right.
Yeah, so that's that. We're cool. Everything's good. Our government, our companies, everything's good. This is good. We're so good. We're so fucking good. Sergio, thoughts?
I have just so many thoughts. Like, Zuckerberg is such a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he's always been a piece of shit.
And he's always, I feel like he's always been the type that's not wanting any regulation, just let people kind of figure it out on their own.
Right.
But I have this not hypothetical question, but just existential question. At what point do people have to start taking accountability for themselves when it comes to the stuff that they research or what they believe on the internet? When,
that's the problem, though, I think.
Well,
Is that-
and that's it's a hard thing to do because even with fact checkers, people are always
they choose to believe whatever they want to believe anyway. I don't
Uh-huh.
disagree with that. I think it's difficult because there's got to be a hall monitor somewhere. I don't believe in like a hall monitor who's handing out detention, but I do believe in a hall monitor who goes, "Hey, you're going too fast. You're running through the halls. We can't have that. So you can still be in the hall. Just don't fucking run like an idiot. You got a fucking sword in your hand and you're talking about how the Jews are bad. Like we can't have you doing that." I don't disagree with you. I think that, like, yes, there needs to be a certain amount of accountability that you as the user have to understand. Yeah, I have to start like thinking more critically here. I guess maybe that's kind of what you're pointing to is like critical thinking skills. Like we need to be able to exercise them. And if you can't, then maybe you don't get the internet. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there is an answer really.
Well, and I think for me, one of the thoughts that I'm having is just more and more, I have a Facebook account, but I hardly ever get on it. And so now that I do, when I deactivate it, and every time I deactivate it, they have like 10 reasons why, or you can put other, and I always put fuck Mark Zuckerberg as one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
I delete my account or deactivate it. But I think that I might just delete the whole thing. And just because it's all ads now anyway. And a lot of the stuff, if I want it, but family can just send me pictures or keep me notified. I don't really need to be part of the system anymore where I'm on social media. And but also the other thought of me I think we should be regulated. I think there should be people that are saying, hey, you know, we don't stand for this as a company, because you look at any kind of agency, and if you're saying crazy things on it, that should be a reason why you don't work at that said company.
Yep.
But also, a lot of these guys are just like, well, this is just, pure, this is what America is freedom of speech. So I should be allowed to say whatever I want to say.
Right. And I think that, I don't know, like I'm not anti-free speech. Obviously I think that that's so important to any thriving democracy or any thriving government. It's a God-given right if you believe in God giving you the rights, but like it is something that I think is important for us to maintain. But to your point, there needs to be some kind of regulation around this stuff, because you're talking about allowing the worst people to say the worst shit. Like from The Intercept, I've got an article from The Intercept here. These are the things that are newly permissible speech that can be allowed on Facebook and Instagram. Immigrants are grubby, filthy pieces of shit. Gays are freaks. Like these are things that you're allowed to say now, right? Like you're allowed to attack trans kids if you want to. When they were asked about the new policy, a Meta spokesperson said this: "We're getting rid of a number of restrictions on topics like immigration, gender identity, and gender that are subject of frequent political discourse and debate. It's not right that these things should be said on TV of the floor of Congress, but can't be on our platforms."
But I also think of the other things that I was thinking about is just the spread of misinformation when it talked to the genocide of the Rohingya, and all the kind of falsehoods that happened with that, and how people are getting their information. They were just saying that in Facebook, especially in developing countries, that there's just a ton more. There's a lot more misinformation that goes out there, and there's definitely a lot higher gaps of education and what people are able to believe, and so there's just it spreads a lot quicker, and it's responsible for the deaths of LGBTQ kids to people of other religions, and it feeds into that. And I also just think that you have kids that are being exposed to stuff like this that are just seeing horrible things, and it's just I don't know, it's just. It would be a terrible job, right? Because those are the people that are having to look through, gory,
the worst of the worst,
and censoring it.
Yeah.
But it's also like this is a reflection of your company, and so you're basically saying it's okay that people are homophobic or they're anti-Semitic or they're anti-Muslim, and saying that this is okay here. This is a safe space for you.
And X has done that, where, it's a space now for it. I mean, it really is just, glad I'm not on it, but you hear stories about just how rough it is now, like how far away from its original intent, Twitter was, and now it's this like hate-filled space or
just all porn, right?
Yeah, it's like
and bots and people,
porn bots, all that, like just trolls. It's really a rough space to be in. And so, Zuckerberg, you're doing this to yourself, because that's how it's going to go. Because people are going to start looking for alternatives. Like, oh well, I don't want to be here. People who want to live in a polite society where, yes, you do have the freedom of speech, but everyone understands, like, if you're going to be a hateful piece of shit, like, be doing it quietly. We know you exist. Like, that's always going to exist in our in human societies, but like, just go off and fucking crawl into a hole.
Back to HN.
Right. Like, please leave us alone. This is like, I know that my neighbor and I, we don't talk, and I know that he probably isn't comfortable with me being on the block, but we leave each other well enough alone. Just fucking leave me alone. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I don't want to see you fucking putting up swastikas on the internet. Like, that's just not something I'm cool with.
Yeah.
And when the people who run these sites are saying, no, it's okay because it's their freedom of speech, it's like, no, man.
Yeah. Well, between Meta owning WhatsApp and Instagram, that's a lot. That's a major platform for just for people communicating internationally.
Yeah.
But also Instagram with kids. Like, that's the hot spot.
Yeah. And you were talking just a little bit ago about disinformation on Meta and all their platforms. And I think I remember seeing something about like how this past election, the Trump, some Trump super PAC or donor group or whatever was putting out false information in like Spanish speaking communities, like in their WhatsApp channels, and like getting into like WhatsApp spaces and like plugging it because it's how a lot of people communicate with families back at home, blah, blah, blah. And it's like just all kinds of like just rabidly.
Dude, just think about fucking COVID, man. All the misinformation and how it causes autism and ivermectin and all that shit.
That's true.
Just think of all the discord that happened with just getting vaccinated and how fucking vocal people were that were anti-vaccine and ended up fucking dying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are not learning at all as we go along, it seems.
Yeah. And, it's hard because we move into a space where, if you want to join, a group or what's going on in different stores, a lot of stores don't have websites, have Facebook pages where you can, and you have to have a login and sign up to be able to see that stuff. Or if you want to join, like I've been always flirting with the idea of trying to get back into Ultimate Frisbee. They have a group.
Oh, you're an Ultimate guy.
I loved Ultimate. I was on the B team in college. Yeah, it was awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I've only played one game.
Oh, it's the best.
Big fan.
It's awesome. It's really fun. It's such a workout. You run so much.
I was a big fan when playing Ultimate. The one game that I played, I was like, I'm just going to use my size, and like if anyone wants to get in the way, they're going to get ran over.
Yeah.
Because there are no like contact rules, right? Like you just can't like tackle someone.
You can't tackle somebody, but I mean, just
you can be on them, right?
You can't like accidentally set a screen and let somebody. So if you accidentally set a screen or purposely set a screen, they'll say screen and they'll stop the play and they'll redo it. But yeah, no, Ultimate's great. But back to the point, like it's a lot of people get information for local groups or local stores or local events.
That's right. Yeah. Or even if you were trying to buy a foosball table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Marketplace.
Yeah.
It's a whole, economy within, these social media platforms.
Yep.
But it's a monopoly because there's only, one or two or three that are really
that's right
viable.
Yeah.
And
because I think like the other messaging service I've been thinking about moving to is Signal, just because it's it's also end-to-end encryption and blah blah blah, and it's not tied to any specific company yet. But it's just like getting everybody to migrate off of that stuff is going to. And I was talking to my wife about she's like, should I keep my Facebook? I was like, I got rid of my Facebook, over a decade ago.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't need it. And I was like, yeah, you absolutely should. Like, what are you doing on it anyway?
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, keeping up with people I haven't seen in a long time. I'm like, do you talk to them on a regular?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at it? What does it matter?
Yeah.
You don't care about them. They don't care about you.
Yeah. That's a sad reality.
It is. It really is. You're collecting cards on the internet. That's all you're doing.
Well, it's just such an illusion, right? It's just like, oh yeah, they got married, they got divorced, they had a kid, you know,
Right.
This person died. But when have you had a conversation with them?
Right. Yeah. My circle, you know, especially since I got off of Facebook and my circle got small, and I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I don't need everyone knowing what I'm doing, or Zuckerberg, or ag companies.
Or selling you ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the Intercept here real quick, though. Quote, the document also provides ample examples of newly permissible insults aimed at specific gender identities or sexual orientations, including, quote, gay people are sinners, and, quote, trans people are moral. A post stating lesbians are so stupid would remain prohibited as a mental insult, though trans people are mentally ill is marked as allowed.
Who, like, why?
I don't, dude.
Who sets these metrics of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable?
Is it
Zuck?
No. So it's a guy. I don't know if it's the guy, but a spokesperson.
It's the man behind the curtain.
A spokesperson for Meta. His name was Corey Chambly. He was the one who was saying that this is like the way forward. So I don't know who's making these rules, but I imagine it's probably coming down from Zuckerberg. Like, hey, let's take the fucking reins off of this shit altogether. So last thing from the Intercept on this. Overall, the restrictions on claims of ethnic or religious supremacy has been eased significantly. The document explains that Meta now allows, quote, statements of superiority as long as the statements do not refer to inferiority of another protected group. And they separate this out into A and B. A is on the basis of an inherited intellectual ability, and B, without support. Allowable statements under the rule include Latinos are the best and, quote, black people are superior to all others. Also now acceptable are comparative claims, such as black people are more violent than whites. Mexicans are lazier than Asians, and Jews are flat out greedier than Christians. Off limits only because it pertains to intellectual ability are the example, quote, white people are more intelligent than black people.
Good God.
So it's like, what difference does it make if you say, yeah, you can't say white people are more intelligent than black people, but you can say that Mexicans are lazier than Asians or Jews are flat out greedier than Christians? It's like, what line does that mean? Like, why does that matter as a line here?
That's so weird. And the thing is that that wouldn't be acceptable language to use while you're working at Meta. So why are you allowing this product where people can say crazy shit like this?
Right. Yeah. You would fire somebody if you saw that happening in an executive office. Someone comes in and goes, you know, I was talking to this Jew out in the hallway and he's
so greedy.
Right. This black out there, yo, he's fucking lazier than dog shit. The Mexicans, they better be working in my garden. Like, it's like all these terrible, hateful things. To your point, why would you allow for that? You wouldn't allow for that to happen in the workplace. So why would you allow it to happen on the thing that you've created for people to exchange ideas? I thought that was the whole idea, Zuck.
Oh, we're so soft.
Pendulum is coming all the way back.
Which, again, it just blows my mind. Why is it woke to try to be accepting of people that are different?
Because I can't be hateful if I'm trying to accept you.
It's not manly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's not just Meta, though. Quote, Zuck is just one of the more prominent Silicon Valley billionaires making moves to lick the president-elect's boots. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and Jeff Bezos' Amazon both donated $1 million to the Trump Fund. And Elon Musk's ultra-rich MAGA performance needs no mention, of course, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. There's nothing surprising about the machinations of the mega-rich when it comes to aligning with power.
You know what though? And maybe this is just devil's advocate, but I'm just thinking about it. Is this, if we went back to Biden's inauguration, are these companies also donating $1 million to?
Yeah.
And is it just more focused on Trump right now, just because Trump is Trump, and they're definitely bending the knee. Clearly, they're recognizing, but they're also business people, so they're going to try to rub elbows and
play both sides of the aisle
and make as much money as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think you're absolutely right on that one. I don't think we need to even expand on that. I think you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In 2011, not 2011, Jesus Christ, my eyes. In 2021, in the response to Trump's role in the January 6th attack, Meta banned the then president. God, that was Maryland as shit. Banned the then president from all of its platforms. And around that time, over 800 QAnon conspiracy groups were also removed from Facebook. The right wing's agenda has always been about this whole idea about freedom of speech. Consider at that time, the right was rallying behind book bans in schools, but they didn't utter a peep when dozens of left-wing anti-fascist groups were also banned from Facebook. And Meta has been engaging in what Human Rights Watch calls systematic and global censorship of the Palestinian and Palestinian solidarity content on all of its platforms. Nonetheless, the right has successfully created themselves to be the victim in their narrative of the content moderation argument. I think it's a pretty good summation of what's been happening.
Yeah,
you can't speak out for like the benefit of people and like say like, hey, we, shouldn't be killing innocent children or just liberally carpet bombing the Ukrainian front, but you can say that Mexicans are lazier than Asians now.
Yeah.
Oh, remember this. Natasha, the person who wrote the piece, she finishes with this. Zuckerberg, lest we forget, is still facing an antitrust FTC, that's Federal Trade Commission, lawsuit over claims that the Meta bought Instagram and WhatsApp to crush competition. Luckily for him, Trump responds well to bootlicking. And fucking Meta ended its DEI hiring practices on Friday. It's just... They are going right so fast at like breakneck speeds now, and I just don't understand. There is going to be a mass exodus, and it's going to create like a vacuum in the marketplace, right?
Well, but I'm also thinking about. So I have some friends that work in tech, especially, for example, like PayPal, and he was saying that so much of the work is, especially with the engineers, is being sent overseas because you have people that have master's degrees, doctorate degrees in coding and all this stuff. They speak English, but they work for a quarter of the price of what you'd pay somebody in the United States.
Yeah.
And so when you end up with DEI practices, is that going to mean that they're just going to send more of their options overseas? I mean, I know with them sending the headquarters from California to Texas, that Texas is a lot friendlier with taxes.
Yeah.
So they're going to be making more money there and, have a lot more freedom to basically do whatever they want.
Yeah. It's fucking mental. Like they are anything and everything to make more money. Like they don't care at all about any of us as people.
No.
We're just a number.
We're dollar signs. So, well, one of the things I wish that we were not denied, wasn't it Elon Musk that challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a boxing match, or Bezos?
MMA. I think it was an MMA fight.
God, I wish I would have watched. I would have loved to see them just beat the shit out of each other.
I would have loved to see it too. The sad thing is that at the end, no one walks out of there less of a billionaire. There's no no one's walking. They're actually making so much more money out of that fight that I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen, because everyone wants to see them like two fucking nerds just like slapping each other in the middle of a ring, chasing each other around. But
I'm just getting bloodied.
If it had been, if the fight had been like Conor McGregor at his peak versus Mark Zuckerberg I'd pay over the odds to see that happen, just to watch Conor McGregor tear him apart. Or Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk tag team up against a lion and see who comes out alive.
I would like that.
I'm pretty sure that they give the lion a fight.
Not.
Oh man, but yeah, Sergio, I don't know. Like you brought up earlier, Trump, 34 charges, 3 years later, no fucking jail time, no actual consequences. The feudal caste system is here. The tech oligarchy is marching forward, just continuing to prove that if you're rich and powerful, there are no consequences.
No, and it's getting worse and worse, just like with everything that's happening with especially like the episode that we talked about with housing. Being middle class is really, really not going to be a thing anymore. And it's just going to be rich people getting just so much more richer, and us
struggling more,
everybody
and more.
else just struggling more and more, and paying, a lot more than these companies are.
Yeah. The technocracy's here.
Ugh. But it's going to all, the thing is that it's going to all fail. At some point, it's going to collapse because everybody's all excited about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to fall apart.
Yep.
The people are going to be fucking sick and tired of tech and social media, and they're going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll all just be hypnotized and we'll all just, go out in a big tsunami.
I think the idea of a nuclear war coming or World War III coming fast down the pike is...
Bro, we sound so just...
fucking, just cooked.
Yeah.
Brains are cooked. Microwaved, bro. Scrambled eggs.
Ugh. This is a conspiracy theory. Yeah, this is what we really wanted to talk to you guys about.
Yeah. We've now that we've done 22 episodes, you're hooked. We're going full Alex Jones now.
So the next instruction is...
The frogs are gay.
It's a gay bomb. And so we really need you listeners to go to your kitchen and get foil and put it on your head.
Yeah, we've been wearing it the entire time.
Yeah, the 5G is here.
But no, it's oh boy,
it's scary stuff, man. And I think it'll just be really interesting to see kind of where the policies go with social media, with this antitrust, and then also to see whether or not TikTok's going to be a thing, or if they're going to ban that, because
you can't have competition in the country stealing your data.
Yeah,
I mean, we have our own tech companies in this country for that. We don't need some Chinese company coming and stealing our tech data.
And then we'll just send them overseas to work in India, in India.
Oh, yeah. And data spillage there too. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah. All right. Well, happy 2025, right? But listeners, thank you again for listening to another episode of At the Extremes. And because I think after this weekend, I think you get up until the 10th. What's today's date? I don't even know.
I think it's the 11th.
Okay, so we can't. Well, I'll make it
12th.
Is it okay? I think the 12th is the last day you can say this of the year. Happy New Year. Do us a favor though for your New Year's resolutions. If you haven't made one by now, go ahead and make your resolution this year to subscribe and share this podcast. Oh, see that transition?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I like that. If you'd like to hear your earworm of the show, please reach out to us on Blue Sky. Check the show notes. And until next week, folks.
Educate yourself, brother.
I crave the pull of true connection. Sweeping the floors, counting the days.